I dated a mama's boy in college, and I tell you, it was the worst experience of my life. Oh my God. This dude, his mother, I just wanted to cut both of them in the jugular vein. But this is a common issue, and I think it's more prevalent when the guy that you date is the only child of a black woman. Oh my God, you can just it's over. It's over for you. There's no options. She just hangs on to his ass, especially if there's no father. She puts him in the role of head of the household, lets him make all kind of decisions, let him tell her what to do, all kind of shit. And so, for those kind of situations, I fault the mother. What the fuck are you doing? He's a kid. He ain't head of shit. Motherfucker ain't paying no bills, ain't doing nothing. And you put him, have his head all blown up thinking he's running some shit. So he gets out in the world totally unqualified to be a husband or father because you've babied him his entire life. And so here he comes with some woman and he's trying to, he wants to be the man, right? But he has no skills. He has no knowledge. He has no techniques. He has nothing because you've always done everything for him. So, ladies, if you meet a man like that, I'm telling you, no matter how much you think you love him, you're facing an uphill battle, which will most likely end in divorce if you marry him because of his mama. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about these mama boys. In my case, he paid more attention to what his mother said than what I did. Now, I admit we weren't married, and so that was a situation that it was kind of a tough thing to balance because even though he had proposed and we were quote engaged, we weren't married, and he had his mother in his ear telling him what to do and how to do it, and he was listening. The only way that would have changed if we were married and I insisted that he not listen to his mother and that he listen to me instead. Either way, if you really think about it, he's not really running his own life. He's depending on some woman to tell him what to do. Now, at the time, I was very young. I really had no business being engaged. I was like 19. I had no business being engaged in the first place. But you realize these things as you mature. And in retrospect, a guy who listens to his mother that much and who's not a man of his own, he doesn't stand on his own, he's not qualified to be a husband or a father. And you women who marry him and you try to go through all these conniptions, to please his mother and do all this stuff, I mean, you need to like cuss the bitch out. That's what I eventually did. Cuss her the fuck out and tell her, you ain't fucking this motherfucker. I am. So the one he needs to listen to is me, not you. See, mothers be getting they shit confused. They get their roles confused. And they think that because they birthed somebody, that they have, ties to him his entire life. Men are tied to the woman who satisfies their dick. As an adult, I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. And it ain't your mama, you know. If it is your mama, you have some other issues that need to be addressed in a different video. So I'm not really talking about that right now. But you women who have these dudes who listen to their mothers too much, you need to just put them on blast and just let them know. Motherfucker, I'm the one who's you name you screaming at night. So, you listen to your mother, you got to realize that shit that you do, that we do at night, that's going away. Is this really worth it? And just, put him on, just let him know, just put him on notice that you need to make a decision. Because some of these mothers really do too much, and they'll be all up in your business, they'll be all up in your relationship. This one, I mean, she would come to our house because I was living with him at the time, and she come in and she, be trying to say, well, my son likes this and my son likes that, and I just looked at her. I was like, well, your son is gonna like what I do, not what you tell me he likes. He's gonna like what I do. So then she got quiet. But one day I came home from work and she had come over, right? And he had made the mistake of leaving her in the house. This bitch had changed, they rearranged my entire living room. I didn't get mad. When I came in, I just looked. I said, oh, well, I'm going to go in here and take a shower and change my clothes. And when I come back in this living room, it better look like it looked this morning when I left. That's all I said. And I could hear him when I went in the bedroom and closed the door. I could hear him say, "Mama, see, what you do that for? You just making me, you making problems for me, blah, blah, blah." So he was going off at his mother, but I could hear them scuffling furniture around and moving that shit back. And then when I came out, I sat down and I said, you need to understand something. This is not your house. This is not your husband. You don't run shit here. This is my goddamn house. And when anything up in here, this is my decision, my choices, not yours. So don't you ever, as long as you live, do any shit like that again, or we're going to have a serious problem. So, she got put on notice. It was a very interesting thing, but I admit I'm a witch. I'm a broom riding witch. I don't give a fuck about nobody's mother or nobody else. I care about me. And in a situation like that, you have to definitely put your mother-in-law, potential mother-in-law, whoever, on notice that you're not going to be tolerating her nonsense. And for the guys, you have to really make a decision. I know you love your mother. You should love your mother. She's the one who brought you into this earth. She's the one who raised you up, sacrificed for you, and all that. But at a certain point, you have to make a decision about, you have to kind of rearrange your priorities. Let me put it that way. You have to rearrange your priorities. Your wife and your children have to be your top priority, not your mother. She should be second, maybe even third. I don't know, because it'd be wife, kids, mama. Okay, so that makes her third. And if you continually put your mother in first place over your wife and over your own children, you're going to have a problem in your marriage, and your marriage will most likely not last very long. This is something I see happen a lot with guys. They don't really understand that, your woman needs you in a different way, as your children need you in a different way than your mother does, especially if your mother has a husband. Some don't. I mean, the guy may have died or whatever. But regardless, your responsibility, your obligations, your ties, and your key focus should be on your wife, the woman you have chosen to be your life partner, and the children that have come from that union. They're depending on you, and that's your top priority. So as a woman myself, in a situation with a dude who wasn't making me the top priority or was having some conflicts, I had to get him straight. It's like, wait a minute, motherfucker, you confused. Unless you fucking that bitch and you having some children with her and all this old stuff here, that's not where your mind should be. I mean, I'm going to help you take care of her. I mean, we're not going to let the woman be on the street and, be hungry and sick and all that old shit. I mean, I'm not a cruel person, don't get me wrong. But as far as, her wishes and her questions and her desires coming before mine, if that's the way that you think as a man, then you don't need to be married. You just don't need to be married because you're not ready yet. Your mind is not right yet. And I think, the mama's boys will try to control their sons. They'll tell them, well, that's not your baby. They'll tell him, even though he was fucking the hoe, you know what I mean? He's steady fucking a woman, but the mama was just, that's not his baby. It's like, bitch, was you in the bed with him? You know what I mean? You see that a lot when you look at those. I don't have a television at my house, but when I go to my cousin's house and, they watch Maury and whatever, so I'm sitting there looking at that shit. Like, this has got to be, I can't believe what I'm seeing. But, these mothers be like all up in the business of the husband, the son and his, baby mama, whatever, talking about that's not his kid. And, it's like you wasn't there when he was sticking his dick in her. So, it could not be his, but it could just as well be his. So you need to shut up. If he was fucking her, it could be his kid. And I don't understand that kind of mentality. Neither do I understand men who let their family members, their female family members, attack their wives or their baby mama, whatever. And a woman that they claim to love, they got a serious relationship with her long term, and they let their family members attack her, bully her, call her names, do all kind of stuff, and they don't intervene. I don't understand men like that. But they're so tied to their mother's apron strings, they go by more by what their mother says and more by what their mother feels and more by what their mother wants than they do what's beneficial for their relationship. So, ladies, if you have a guy like that, you can talk to him about, try talk to him about it, because I'm not one who really thinks that you should necessarily give up every relationship that you have just because there's a little hiccup in the road. But what I am saying is that you have to be a priority, and your man needs to understand that. And if you talk to him about it, explain to him that what he's doing and how, explain to him how what he's doing is making you feel, and it's up to him to correct it. If he doesn't correct it, if he can't understand and he still wants to be maintain primary ties to his mother, you have to understand what kind of situation you've placed yourself in, and how you're never ever ever going to be a priority to this guy. He's going to always be tied to his mother's apron strings. And in a situation like that, you really don't need that man. He's not a man yet. He's still a baby. He's still, sucking at his mama's titty. And so I don't really know what to tell you about that. That's a decision you have to make. But my point here is that, being aware of the fact that there are mama's boys out there, and they don't really know how to separate themselves from their mother and, live autonomously as an adult male. In charge of his own family, but he's still including his mother in his umbrella of love and caring. I'm not saying abandon her. I never said that. But he has to choose which is his top priority. If he chooses his mother and he puts you second, third, or fifth on the list, then you need to understand where you are and decide if that's the kind of relationship that you want. If not, you know what time it is, and you got to make the choices, make the hard decisions, and get rid of him. Send him on back to live with his mama in her basement. My name is Deborah Cooper. I'm the advice columnist for survivingdating.com, also askheartbeat.com. Check out my books. You can find, I have 5 publications on amazon.com. The Sucker Free Love series, there's 2 books there. And I have a book about the Black church, fitness book, and a cookbook on being a Black vegan. So there are 5 different choices for you there. I'm working on a couple of more, and I hope to have them out by the end of this year. Deborah Cooper, Surviving Dating. Check me out, and I'll be back in a couple of days with another video. Bye-bye.